Title: Inside America's Extremist Boot Camps. White Supremacy in the Military. The American uniform is one of the most powerful symbols in the world. It has crossed oceans, stormed beaches, liberated prisoners, defended allies, and carried the weight of a nation that has often seen itself as the last wall between freedom and tyranny. For generations, American soldiers, Marines, sailors, airmen, guardians, and veterans have represented discipline, sacrifice, courage, and loyalty to something larger than themselves. The uniform is not just cloth. It is a promise. It says that the person wearing it has sworn an oath, not to a king, not to a race, not to a political tribe, but to the Constitution of the United States. And that is exactly why white supremacist extremists want to steal its power. They do not look at the military with respect. They look at it with hunger. They see training, brotherhood, weapons knowledge, discipline, and men searching for purpose after service. In the shadows of American extremism, those things become targets for recruitment. This is not a story about the American military as a whole. The overwhelming majority of service members never join extremist groups and never betray their oath. This is a story about the small number of extremists who try to use the image, language, and training of the military against the country the military exists to defend. To understand this threat, you have to understand what extremists want from military people. A hate group with angry men is dangerous, but a hate group with people who understand discipline, organization, pressure, and command becomes something more serious. Military experience can give extremists credibility inside their own circles. It can make a fringe group look stronger than it really is. It can help recruiters tell young men that they are not joining a gang, but a mission. Veterans are not the enemy. Service members are not the problem. The problem is extremist recruitment. The problem is white supremacist ideology trying to attach itself to the honor of military service. This problem did not begin on January 6th. That day shocked America because the country saw organized political violence unfold at the Capitol, and some of the people involved had military backgrounds. But the relationship between American wars, disillusioned veterans, and extremist movements goes much deeper. After the Civil War, Confederate veterans helped form the first Ku Klux Klan. After World War I, the second rise of the Klan drew strength from a country filled with returning soldiers, racial fear, and nationalist propaganda. After Vietnam, white power organizers began replacing old robes with camouflage, paramilitary language, and the image of the armed veteran. Extremist groups adapted. They took the wounds of war, the disappointment of veterans, and the symbols of service, and turned them into recruitment tools. After Iraq and Afghanistan, the danger entered a new phase. The global war on terror produced a generation of Americans who had spent years in combat zones and high-pressure environments. Most returned with honor and discipline, but some returned disillusioned, angry, isolated, or wounded in ways the public could not see. At the same time, America became deeply divided. Online radicalization grew, and conspiracy theories spread. Extremist recruiters knew exactly what to offer: a new unit, a new enemy, a new mission, and a false explanation for pain. They told veterans that their country had betrayed them. They told angry young men that hate was clarity. They took loneliness and gave it a uniform. One of the clearest examples of this threat came from groups like The Base, an underground neo-Nazi organization built around the fantasy of social collapse and racial war. It was not just an online chat room. It tried to create real-world networks, recruit men with useful experience, and build a paramilitary image. Groups like this imitate the surface of military life: drills, hard language, physical training, loyalty tests, secrecy, and brotherhood. But they lack the moral core of real military service. A soldier trains to defend lawful order. An extremist trains to attack it. A soldier's discipline is meant to protect civilians. An extremist's discipline is meant to intimidate them. A soldier answers to the Constitution. An extremist answers to hate. January 6th forced the Pentagon and the country to look at this issue in a way it could no longer avoid. Some people involved in the Capitol attack had military backgrounds, and some understood formations, communications, and movement in ways that stood out to investigators. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin ordered a military-wide stand-down, telling service members to pause normal duties and discuss extremism, values, good order, discipline, and the meaning of the oath. The stand-down did not mean the military was full of extremists. It meant the military understood that even a small number of extremists could damage trust inside the ranks and threaten the institution's moral foundation. The oath is the center of this story. Every service member swears to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That oath has no racial category. It does not belong to one party, one tribe, one religion, or one bloodline. It belongs to the Republic. White supremacist extremism inside or around the military is not merely offensive. It is a betrayal. It attacks the idea that the uniform belongs to all Americans. The hardest part is that the solution cannot be simple fear. A free country cannot treat every veteran as suspicious. It cannot treat every conservative, every gun owner, every critic of government, or every angry young man as an extremist. Civil liberties matter. Free speech matters. Political disagreement matters. But refusing to panic is not the same as refusing to see. Extremist recruitment is real. White supremacist networks are real. Online radicalization is real. Groups that seek military experience are real. The challenge is precision, to distinguish lawful belief from violent extremism and ordinary anger from organized hate. Inside America's extremist boot camps, the real story is not strength. It is imitation. Men who want the honor of service without the burden of service. Men who want the image of soldiers without the oath of soldiers. Men who want brotherhood without responsibility, discipline without law, and purpose without morality. They copy the language of the military because the real thing has power, but the copy is hollow. The American uniform does not belong to extremists. It belongs to those who defend the Republic. It belongs to those who understand that strength without morality is only violence. It belongs to those who know that the oath is not a slogan, but a line in the sand. And if white supremacists try to turn America's ranks into recruiting grounds, then America's answer must be firm, clear, and unafraid. The uniform serves the Constitution, and hate has no command here.